Welcome to the Blazor Charts tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to create and customize the multi-series chart in Syncfusion Blazor Charts component with real-time data. Additionally, I'll demonstrate how to customize features such as series, data labels, titles, legend, and tooltip, and more to enhance the chart's clarity and readability. Before that, let's explore a real-time scenario with example data. Look at this data table, which shows the quarterly smartphone shipment volumes and market share for 2022. To create a chart that shows both the smartphone shipment volumes and market shares for each quarter from 2021 to 2022, we can use a combination of a stacked column chart and a line chart. If you're interested in delving deeper into this real-time scenario and exploring the data for smartphone shipment volumes and market shares, please check the blog link provided in the description below. Although there are over 50 plus Syncfusion chart types available in Blazor, for this real-time example data, it is indeed wise to use a combination or mixed chart. A mixed chart is a type of data visualization that allows for the simultaneous representation of multiple data series on a single chart. Each data series typically represents a different aspect or category of data, and they are displayed together for easy comparison and analysis. Now let me open an existing Blazor web app in auto mode. If you want to know how to create a Blazor web app with auto mode selection, check out the video linked in the above YouTube card. Here, the Syncfusion Blazor Charts NuGet package has been installed in a client project to utilize the Blazor Charts component. Also, ensure that you register the Syncfusion Blazor service in both the server and client-side program CS file. If you want to learn how to add the Syncfusion Blazor Charts component to a Blazor web app, check out the video link provided in the description below. Now that everything is configured, let me proceed to add the Syncfusion Blazor Charts. For that, I open the Home Razor component and replace the default code and define the Syncfusion Blazor Chart component. Next, I will show you how to add data to the Blazor chart and display it as a stacked column series. To render a multi-series chart within the Home Razor component, define the Chart Series Collection tag, which is an array that can contain any number of chart series definitions. Since I plan to add a 4 stacked column series chart, I define 4 chart series tags with the type property set to stacking column. Next, to prepare the data for the chart, providing the quarterly smartphone shipments for 2022, I create a class named Model. Within the class, I set brand name and quarters 1 to 4 properties. To generate a collection of data on smartphone shipments per quarter, I create the shipments data list of type Model class. Within the list, I set the array of brand names and volume for each quarter. Next, I will assign this list to the data source property for all the chart series tag. Then map the data source fields, brand name to X name, and quarter to Y name properties of all the chart series. To enhance visualization, I will add data labels, so I define the chart data label tag inside the chart marker tag and set the visible property to true. Then I set the position property to middle. Now I will apply the same data label customization to the other chart series. To use category value data on the x-axis, I define a chart primary x-axis tag and set the value type property to category. Let's run the example application. You can see the stacked column chart rendered with the provided data. Also, notice that the data labels are rendered in provided middle position. Next, I will demonstrate how to modify the chart appearance. First, to set the background color of the chart, I assign the background property to custom color. Next, I will add a title and subtitle to the chart using the title and subtitle properties. Since the x-axis denotes mobiles, I set the title to smartphones. For the y-axis, I define a chart's primary y-axis tag and set the title as smartphone shipments. To customize the title, I define the chart title style tag and set the text alignment to near. For the subtitle customization, I define the chart subtitle style tag, set the text alignment to near, and adjust the size property to 10 pixel. To change the color of the column series, I set the fill property to custom color within the chart series tag. This fill property will be applied to all the chart series tags. Look now, the stacked column chart is rendered with the provided titles and subtitles and the specified background color. Notice that the subtitle is overflowed. To achieve this, I set the text overflow property to none. Now you can see the chart subtitle is clearly displayed. Next, I will demonstrate how to add multiple series in a combination of stacked columns and line series for the market share of smartphones for 2022. I first add a new property named market share to the Mata class. Then I update the values for market share in our data list. Next, within the chart series collection tag, I define a chart series tag and set the type property to line. I then set the data source property and bind it to the shipments data list. Also, I set the width and fill properties to customize the appearance of the series. Finally, I map the data source fields, brand name to X name, and market shares to Y name properties. To set the marker for this line series, I define the chart marker tag and set the visible property to true. I set the height and width properties to 5 to customize the marker. To set up multiple axes, I define the chart axes. Within the chart axes, define a single chart axis tag and set the opposed position property to true. This property ensures that the axis is displayed on the opposite side of the chart area. Next, I set a title for smartphone market share. Then I customize the axis by setting properties like row index and label format. I also set the name property to y-axis too. This axis is created to accommodate different data sets compared to the primary y-axis. The line series representing the market share data is associated with this new axis using the y-axis name property by specifying y-axis name as y-axis 2. The line series is instructed to use y-axis 2 as its vertical reference axis for plotting data. This configuration allows you to display multiple series on different axes within the same chart, enabling better data comparison and visualization. You can now see the line series rendered in the same chart with the given axis labels and title. Next, I will demonstrate how to enable and customize tooltips and legends. To enable the legend, I set the name property for all the chart series tags. This property is used to name the legend. I define the chart legend settings tag and set the visible property to true. Look now, you can see the legend at the bottom of the chart. When I click on the legend, corresponding series are hidden. Upon clicking the legend again, they become visible. If you want to highlight the series when hovering over the legend, simply set the Enable Highlight property to true. See here, when I hover over the legend, the corresponding series are highlighted. Next, to enable the tooltip, I define the Chart Tooltip Settings tag and set the Enable property to true. Look now, upon hovering over the series, the tooltip displays the details of the particular column. If you want to enable Shared Tooltip, set the Shared property to true. Here, when I hover over the series, notice that the Shared Tooltip displays the details of all the 4 quarters smartphone shipments and market shares. Now you can easily analyze the volume of smartphone shipments worldwide for each quarter of 2022 using the stacked column chart. You can also analyze the market shares of smartphones for 2022 using the line chart. The customization options enhance data visualization and analysis. Now let me summarize. I showed you how to add the Blazor chart component in a Blazor web app. I covered how to add multiple series. I also showed you how to enable and customize some features of the stacked column chart. If you want to see the working code of this example, you can download it from the GitHub link in the description below. I've also provided a link to see if you qualify for a free community license to use all our Blazor products. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.